workers worldwide, in the air, on the ships, in the docks, on the trains, and the planes, in the buses. And the message is we stand here beside you because your struggle is our struggle.
We live in the wider world. If you're a seafarer, you are the wider world. If you're a stevedore, the wider world comes in and ties up at your wharf. It's up the gangway. It's another group of people, many of them are discriminated against, harassed, underpaid and robbed, sometimes bashed and sometimes murdered. You can never be safe in your job, you can never be safe in your bed unless you're out there protecting other people that are getting things taken away, unless we act on their behalf to live decent lives and to protect ourselves from those same abuses. It's a moral transaction, but it's also a practical transaction, being an internationalist.
It's the most important word in the working class dictionary. And we say to Orsted, we're not going to stand by while you throw dockers anywhere in the world on the scrap.
The ITF and the IDC are instrumental to the success of our union. We see it when we've got our back against the wall on picket lines. It's those organisations that come out and stand up for our members. They stand up for wharfies, stand up for seafarers.
In the US and told the bosses they weren't going to be working ships with scabs on them.
In the words of Harry Bridges, ex-Australian seafarer, there's no more important word in the working class dictionary than solidarity.
I'd like to bring up to the podium two of our great friends, Pak Budi and Pak Matthias. Pak Budi is the General Secretary of the Indonesian Seamen's Union, and Pak Matthias is the President of the Indonesian Seamen's Union.
Thank you for this country attention to Indonesia. Thank you.
The celebration when the Indonesians came down here in the Black Armada, where seafarers and wharfies during the war and after the war stood by their Indonesian comrades, brothers and sisters, to make sure that we chased the Netherlands off from their Dutch colony up in Indonesia. And they've never forgotten that, those workers. We just don't limit ourselves to job justice, or decent conditions of employment within the maritime industry, whether we're stevedores or port workers or towage workers or seafarers. We've also had a sense of our obligations to other working men and women, wherever they are, internationally.
Don't you cry!
I'm here today at this enormous demonstration for justice in Palestine. And what we're witnessing at the moment is just the most abhorrent, brutal state-sponsored terrorism by Israel, and it's got to stop.
We have a strong position in regards to solidarity with the Palestinian people. But what's unfolded is nothing but a catastrophe being waged by the Israeli state on the Palestinian peoples in Gaza. And that is a crime against humanity.
You're a bit unlucky you're born in Palestine. If you're really unlucky, you're born on the Gaza Strip. What's the difference between those babies, those children, those human beings from the time of their first breaths and Australian that go through the same life cycle? There's no difference. We know that as the MUA. People might distort, that's what racism is about. Distorting, making things foreign, keeping people apart.
Dockers have stood against apartheid in South Africa. They've stood against the Pinochet regime in Chile. And now we're standing for Palestinians as we see the bombs drop and land on their hospitals and schools. And we won't stay quiet on this issue. We will fight and continue to demand justice for all working people wherever they are.
There has never been a more important time for the union movement to stand up. This is the Iraq War moment of our time.
We are Australians, and that makes us international. We've known that for generations. That's what's kept us for 150 years. We're so proud of being part of a movement, a human movement, a progressive movement that makes a difference.
And we're sending a message to the working men and women at Knuth. Union power! Union power! Union power! Hang in there, comrades!